The Detroit Lions, man.
I had
this
them.
offseason.
That was my next one. Great one.
Everybody, myself included, loving what they're doing in free agency. I'm pretty confident they're the current favorites to win the NFC North right now. Bill, you said you looked at the odds, right?
So I texted Sal and a couple of other of our friends because I was stunned that they were plus 130. I actually thought they were going to be like minus 150, something like that. They have the 6th and the 18th picks on top of all the stuff they did in free agency, and they went 9-8 last year. And that division stinks. Like,
Plus
why
they
wouldn't
got
they be
Jameson
like
Williams
legitimate
coming back.
favorites?
Yeah.
So many things working in their favor. They had Jameson Williams coming back, who didn't even play the entire. So the offense, which I think finished top 5 in DVOA. And then perhaps equally importantly, they bring back Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, doing something that I have always advocated for teams to do, which is spend everything on your assistants. You can just throw money at them, try to get them. I mean, I think there are other reasons why he stayed, but maybe he didn't like the jobs and whatever. But clearly the dude got a raise and he is awesome. So that was
So you're saying the Patriots strategy of relatives and washed up other coaches working at a position is a bad strategy?
Joe Judge got promoted today. I saw it, right? He got a new gig.
So fired up for him.
Special teams. And then the other thing is, and this is the free agency stuff, really. The glaring weakness of the team was the pass defense. Worst QBR in the NFL, worst in a bunch of categories. They went out and they completely remade their secondary aggressively too, because they tried to get Jalen Ramsey, which was the other thing I was thinking about doing that one. But they miss on him, so they signed a bunch of kind of like your favorite cornerback guys, like Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley coming off the injury, people that football people just love, and then they get CJ Gardner-Johnson, who has familiarity with their defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, on a really really cheap deal. Which now at number 6, they're like in pole position to do a million different things. So love their offseason, love them as division favorites, love the Lions.
And Danny, I'm just going to say it. They probably have one of the 4 best quarterbacks in the conference if Rodgers leaves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name me four that you would rather have in the NFC than, I guess you would take Geno, Dak, Hurts.
I'm trying to decide if Stafford
like
is
Cousins.
No,
Stafford.
Stafford's a
I
tough
can't tell if he
right
can
now.
throw or not, which is obviously important.
Would you rather
Tyler?
have Goff or Cousins at this point?
That's tough.
I'd rather have Goff.
Goff played surprisingly well last year. I think I would probably pick Cousins just by a hair, but I mean, if we're even discussing it, I think that's notable that because like we had given up on Goff, and in this offense, like I don't know if he was necessarily elevating everyone around him, but he was delivering the football on time. You know, he's doing kind of what he did earlier in his career with the Rams, and running the offense to like the way that you can run it with, like you're getting the ball to your playmakers, letting them do the work. So.
I thought he took some hits too, which was the rap on him earlier on in his career that you could hit him a couple times and
he would like fall apart. Yeah.
He's tough.
I like that team. Mina, the Jameson Williams is a great point because they're going to have the 6th and the 18th pick, but then they also get him, who's almost like a redshirt freshman in college or something. They trotted him out. I had him in fantasy last year, so I was kind of like, I wonder. And he would only play like 10 plays, but they would always run one play a game. Where he just got wide open 50 yards down the field. He was beating people by 10 yards.
He was my favorite wide receiver in the draft when he was healthy at Alabama. But, so Lions fans love Jared Goff, so they don't love it when you say this. So I'm almost afraid to say it.
Yeah.
But this would be such a good landing spot for Anthony Richardson at 6.
Oh, yeah.
Sits for a year.
Right.
Perfect place. Great offense. Great place to learn. And then you get to tap into that upside that he provides. I would love that for him.
I thought you were going to say Lamar there because that was Shio Kapadia was his big,
also interesting. But
his big, like, why wouldn't the Lions trade for? Because I think they could do the 18th pick, not the 6th, right? When you get to pick your pick.
I think so, yeah.
For the Lamar thing?
6, trade 18 and next year's first and other stuff and then pay Lamar. But I don't think they have to. I think they're in a great spot. I was stunned that they were still plus money as a favorite because Green Bay is going to go the other way. The Bears, I just need to see Fields have a game where he's like 25 for 35 or something. Like they just didn't throw the ball at all last year. I have no idea what to make of them. And they feel like they're maybe a year away from being whoever they are. And then Minnesota looks like a mess. And it looks like they're kind of a stealth candidate to maybe trade Cousins if, once we get past the draft and quarterback roulette slows down. Danny, is that inconceivable that
no,
whoever doesn't get, like, let's say the Jets-Rodgers thing just falls apart.
Right.
And the Jets are like, shit, we need a quarterback. I don't know. It could be Cousins. I'm not positive he's going to be in that team.
I mean, Cousins is, the hired gun of like veteran quarterbacks at this point. Like he did the thing where he bet on himself and he made tons and tons of money. It doesn't really feel like the Vikings love him. Like they've sort of slipped up several times talking about like how they don't really buy him as like a long-term solution. I mean, I don't know if that's like, it's pretty much acknowledged and everyone agrees with that, but like you don't say it, right? Like if you're the team, you don't say that, even though they have a couple times. So I thought that was a little bit funny. So yeah, it does feel like they don't look at him as like, this is our guy. It's just kind of like, he's here for now.
Lions were 9-8 last year. So to me, they have the kind of feel of the Eagles last year, where the Eagles, it was just sitting there and everybody was staring at it and everybody was going, Jalen Hurts. Like that was like the hiccup, right? And then they kept adding people and then their odds started to shift and they became like the sexy pick and it kept shifting. And then all of a sudden they were favored ahead of Dallas. Goff is kind of the hiccup for the case for them. And also like, Dan Campbell, the game management stuff. There were some hiccups I would use the word again. But I find it hard to believe they're not 2 wins better this year. Like 11-6 seems pretty reasonable. Either way, this is probably the most exciting spot the Lions have been in since I can't even remember.